Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing great today on this Saturday. Today we'll be throwing together a avocado pudding. Make sure you go back and watch the video that I did recently on how to cut an avocado, check and see if it's ripe or not, and then how to specifically slice it depending on the dish that you're going to make. Now, what are we going to need to make our avocado pudding? One, you're going to need a bowl, you're going to need a spoon, you're going to need a sharp knife to cut your avocado, you're going to need a tablespoon, and you're going to need a half a teaspoon. So that's the specific utensils we're going to need. Oh, forgot this too. You're also going to need a small mini processor. Really cheap and inexpensive. You can get it at Walmart, Target, maybe $10 to $20 tops. If you don't want to go to the store, you can easily order pretty much anything off of Amazon nowadays. Ingredient wise, you're going to need one avocado. Now, if you want to make obviously a much larger portion than I'm going to make here, you can double or triple this specific recipe that I'm going to tell you right now. So we got one avocado. We are going to use, I have some special dark Hershey's cocoa powder. I have some vanilla. If you want to kind of up the ante with the flavor and you want to use a fresh vanilla bean, you just can go to the store, grab one of those, you slice it down the middle, and then you shave out the vanilla out of the vanilla bean. That will really definitely enhance the flavor and kind of increase how that tastes for you. I don't have that right now, I just have the regular stuff, so that's what we're gonna use today. We have some maple syrup, and then we have some salt, okay? So if you go back and watch that video, you'll see how I've already cut the avocado. That's already prepped and ready to go. I'm gonna throw this avocado into my food processor. Because I want this pudding, like any pudding, if you've ever had it, you want it to be nice and smooth and creamy. That's the nice thing about avocados is avocados are a fat, or AKA a healthy fat. So typically your fats are gonna be very smooth, very creamy. You know, if you think of things like butter, creams, that texture is kind of very distinct when you have it in some of your foods or in some of your dishes as well. So we've got that whole avocado done and ready into the food processor. Now we're just gonna add our other ingredients in with that. Now again, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, this is an avocado, you're making a pudding on it, like that's really disgusting. But it's a really nutrient dense, high quality snack that you can incorporate throughout the day. Next, I'm gonna do my cocoa powder. I'm gonna have 2 tablespoons of this. Again, throwing it into that food processor as well. You see I'm doing my dry ingredients first because I'm going to use the same tablespoon for my maple syrup, and I don't want the cocoa powder to not be able to go all into the food processor, you know, when I put maple syrup in first rather than I do the powder first. Right? So we got the 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Again, this is going to sweeten it up. If you don't want to use maple syrup, you can use honey, you can use agave syrup. If you don't want to use added sugars, you could also use Splenda as well. It's just probably going to take 2 to 4 packets to match the sweetness you would have from a honey or a maple syrup. So we got 2 tablespoons of this. Again, if you like yours a little bit sweeter, you can certainly do a 1/3 tablespoon if you would like. Okay, we got all that in there. May take a little bit longer for that maple syrup just to drip into the food processor, so give that a couple seconds. Next, we got our vanilla extract, half a teaspoon there, filling that all the way to the top. Again, you see I'm putting all the ingredients over top of the food processor when I do them, because that way if something drips off to the sides, it's going into the food processor and it's not going on your countertop. All right, and then we're gonna add a pinch of salt. So I'm just gonna put that in my fingers, right? A little Salt Bae action. You got that salt, you got a little bit of the sweetness from the honey, right? You got that bitterness that's coming from the cocoa powder, and then you have that creaminess that's gonna be coming from your avocado too. So all I'm gonna do is all my ingredients now are in there. I'm gonna twist this over, it's locking it in. It's gonna be really noisy for a couple of seconds, so just hang tight, but we're gonna blend this together. Sometimes when you see the bigger chunks of avocado on the top, again, just give it a second. Like, it's gonna rotate and mix up in between there. Sometimes you may need to give it a little shake. Sometimes you may need to take the top off to make sure you push some of those bigger pieces down below. It's okay if you have to do that. Again, I'm looking into the food processor, making sure I'm seeing all those big chunks are getting blended up completely, so there's nothing left behind. All right. Now, give you a little close up to that. See how it looks nice and rich and creamy? I mean, it looks literally just like a chocolate pudding. You wouldn't even know avocado is in there, okay? So I'm gonna do this 2 more times, right? Just because I want a bigger portion of it. But again, so if I have 1 avocado, that's 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of our maple syrup, a half a teaspoon of our vanilla, and then if you want to be a little less thick, you can stick some water in there if you want as well. And then just a pinch of salt. So all I'm gonna do is I have 2 more avocados that I'm going to be blending and making a bigger bowl of this so I can save it and have it throughout the week, which is something you can do. So that way, all those numbers I just gave you, just triple them, and it'll be the same thing. And if you have a bigger food processor, you wanna do it all at once. If you have a hand mixer that you can do in the actual bowl, because maybe this is too small and you don't want to wait to do this 3 times, that's another option you can do that's going to make it just as creamy. But hope you guys enjoyed that quick recipe that we threw together today. Again, give it a try. Don't doubt it until you try it. If you want to learn about how to cut avocados, look back at that last video. If you want to learn how to make guacamole, I also have a video on that as well. Again, if you need information on sports nutrition information, if you want to watch my podcast called Ruth's Podcast, where we have a variety of different athletic professionals on there on how we support athletes, or you want to watch more cooking videos like this, or we also have my fiance who has her videos as well. She's coming out talking about strength and conditioning, different parts of that. She'll be also having videos on how to do certain movements, hinging, squatting, pushing, pulling, and really breaking down how to be able to do those movements safely, correctly, so that way if you're someone watching this video who is just an everyday human being, you'll have the ability to know how to do those at least body weight, or if you go in the gym weighted, or if you're an athlete and want to know how to obviously do the movements correctly too, that'll be available to you guys as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, any comments, DMs, videos, things you want to see, don't be afraid.